Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our neck of the woods. How you guys doing today? Just reading. Um, so how's everybody out there in viewer land? I think it's just me and you, Robert. I'm okay with that. Come on, talk to me, brother. Well, we have some coffee and wake up. I was up too late last night, so I overslept today, and I am just getting my bearings. So I've been reading some more in this book. The Last Boys Dance. It's amazing. It's totally amazing. No, I would quite frankly rather be reading at this point. Nothing against anyone. I really just want to dive in full focus. Uh, a lot of good stuff already in that book. I'm trying not to have my glasses on too much today. Oh, right on. I planned on watching that after the show today, so I could pay attention to it. I wasn't waking up this morning. Well, this morning was like 2 hours ago, so there we go. That's a little bit better. Awesome. Were you listening about the summer solstice events down there at the Uluru? Because I saw that came up, and I wanted to go check that out. Do you think the dad is Stephen, right? Do you think that he has a remembering of how to sing the Stones? I mean, you think about it, you know? Yeah, because everything's flipped upside down for them, like according to our calendar, their calendar. I wonder if he has a memory somewhere in him of how to sing the Stones. It gives me goosebumps. Go ahead and put my comfy shirt on. uh, oh, we have somebody else joined us. Hello, hello, hello. I'm thinking so too. The ancestors, absolutely. Uh, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they absolutely do. He said they talked to it. It's really interesting. Yeah. Well, he said they told him the formation, which I believe that. I mean, I think each and every one of us has gifts that we don't yet know that we have. And so I think being able to have a communication with some of the most ancient things on this earth would be absolutely remarkable. Um, do you remember? Do you remember when I was talking to Pappy about that? And I said, I just like I can hear it. I can me and trees are good and plants a lot of times, but our time hearing rocks. You know, like I know they have their own energies and things, but um, he said I had to sit still. Which makes sense. So, actually, come spring, I got plans to go out there with Raina, and we're going to build a woman's lodge in our backyard. And I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we are doing it. I think that it will be good for her and I, you know, to have that kind of a sacred space built. Jeff and I were thinking of taking the next couple of years and like building her own tiny home on the property. You know, that way she has it and she can use it as a playhouse while she's a kid. And if she wants to live in it as an adult, she'll be perfectly capable of doing so. Just an idea we had. I think everybody's over at Craig's today. I think I'm okay with that. I was just so tuckered out yesterday. But that was really, really a cool night. So yeah, this is the last Ghost Dance. I'm telling you, I'd love to just sit here and read excerpts of it. I could probably do a show on that. I'm not sure how well that would be appreciated by others, but I really, I don't know. I feel like another shift's coming, like another energy shift is coming. And I was wondering what that was. It was it's a roll of craft paper. Hey Anna, there she is. Yeah, it had me at the preface. This book, well, it had me at the title. I'm not gonna lie. That's something I would have picked up and been like, ooh, and sat down and read part of it in the store to make sure that it's what I wanted and then take it home. Because look, I'm yay far in. That's it. Because my head was hurting. Jeff's busy bustling around. Bless his heart, he's doing laundry for me because my head was in such a bad way yesterday. So I didn't go do laundry yesterday. So he's actually doing it today for me. I love my husband. He's a good man. Yeah, I really want to dig into this and oh man. So I showed Raina. I showed this one to Raina yesterday, and she is going to be, I think, digging in it just as much as I am. So hopefully, it's something we can work on and study together. She was very, very interested in it. Hi, hon.
Hi.
Hi.
Thought I'd get
How
up
are
here
you
and
today?
say hi right away.
Well, thank you so much. See, that allows me to be able to turn off the cam and still we can still have a conversation.
Well, I just actually crawled underneath some blankies for a little bit. So I was like, I'm not going to show everybody I'm being lazy.
Oh, were you seeing my other pair of fuzzy pajama pants? Yeah, I'm actually I'm having a bit of a relaxed day myself.
I got up pretty early, actually. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, honey.
Okay, I
I
thought
had a
we
book in
froze
my
up.
hand. Sorry, no, I had a book in my hand. I had to put it down. I had to step away from the book.
Well, hey, after I was around on different stuff last night and everything, I came across something rather interesting. This thing that they're poking in people.
Yeah.
I saw a thing that happened to be on RT, the uh, news or whatever. I hop over there once in a while to see the conversation and chat and, just a little discernment here and there, looking at what's going on around, what they're saying, what they're using for distractions. And another country happens to have gone over to all Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And were talking, they don't know why the United States and other countries haven't come around to letting people know that that thing they're putting in everybody is killing people.
Well, it's the
I was
people
like,
that are refusing. It's the people that are refusing to see that. So,
yeah, but I was just like, okay, so that little bit come out, and now all of a sudden that one channel's talking about all the trials and thousands, over thousands of, indictments and sealed indictments, and I'm like, whoa, stuff is starting to come out. All those conspiracy theories. What? What? We were
yeah.
wrong?
I gotta say this. I have had such an easier time since I pulled away from all of that,
Yeah.
and my energy doesn't flux as big. So now, that I've pulled myself away from a lot of that surface distraction stuff. Oh, what did the guy call it this morning? The dark web of thoughts,
Yeah.
as part of our matrix, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So the dark web of thoughts that covers our entire world right now. And I was like, wow, that's what we always call surface stuff, right? We call that surface stuff distractions. And I thought, man, I'm glad we did that, because if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't be able to read what other energies we have going on and flexing. And how many people are being energetically attacked right now and don't even know it because they're so distracted by the surface stuff. And so by the time they realize it, the parasite's already been there and fed, you know?
Yep. So this connected with me, and when I was looking at this stuff, just wow, I don't feel like I really need to watch this anymore because it's coming out now.
Yeah, see? And you already know what you know. And
Yep.
that's not trying to put you like, that's not trying to be like in the egoic self with pride or anything like that, or I told you so or anything like that. That's
Exactly.
simply, I've already discovered this. I've already discussed this. I've already tried to bring this to light. Right?
Yep.
And like,
Yep.
I was already on
I'm-
that path, or on that part of the road a long time
and I'm
ago.
still
Go ahead.
healing from it.
Yeah. And you just recently pulled yourself away from the
That stupid
last
shit. Yes.
vestiges that you were holding on to of that, right? Without having
Exactly.
to say anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm happier for it though.
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
Not be wrapped
definitely.
up in it.
I feel like a Deanna, you want to get a steady flow of energy. And when that shit brings you down, you're taking a roller coaster down the hill. You don't want to do that. You want to just stay constant, and then you can
Yep.
feel then you'll be able to actually feel when something or some incident or some person brings you down. You'll be able to feel that, sense it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if it goes higher, you'll be able to feel that.
Yep. And I actually had to fall down to get to that point. I had to be brought down in that realization of how controlling everything was, and to see it for what it really is, in order to lift myself out of that. Because
You had to see the weight of
it's a process of
some
thinking.
people, that boot's right in their eye right now. And they still don't even feel the pressure of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
and it's sad to me. But I realized that I had done what I could do. I had spoke what I had found. You know, I had tried to educate people on the goings on and the happenings, but at the same time, at some point, I had to let that go. That was not my purpose. To keep beating a
Yeah.
brick wall, and expect that you're not going to keep bleeding is a ridiculous idea in and of itself, right?
Yeah. Well, and two, there's the little bits of things. It's like some of it, I have to keep up on certain things. I mean, I gotta know how to prepare if bad weather is coming in. Absolutely gotta know
Right.
that kind of stuff. I have to know that. Oh my goodness, there is not going to be fuel, or there's going to be fuel, type thing, which is some word of mouth. But I've basically been cut off from the accesses of knowing that I used to. So now it's like, well, I can call the gas station, find out how much, this,
Right.
that, and the other
I
are.
can give you some alternative weathermen that you don't have to go on TV to watch, and they give better weather reports and more accurate weather reports
Right,
than
right.
those they do on TV.
Yep, exactly. But, like, two other sources, finding out about laws, changing things like that. I got to pay attention somewhere, because
Well,
you
you can go right on
have to
your
know
government
what's going
website.
on in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You can go onto your local and state websites and
Yep.
look to see what bills are being voted on, what bills are being put up for consideration, what bills have already been voted on. That stuff is all matter of public record. And all it
Yeah.
takes is you typing in your county or your state.gov, and you'll have your information, But people have gotten away from doing that, and that's how they've been able to hide so much of that stuff from us,
Well,
and get away with as much as they have.
that's another point right there. What you said. It used to be we only had the newspaper and stuff like that, or go to the library, and we only had access to what they allowed us to have access to. Where now we have these tools to use, like our internet and things like that. We didn't have that before. So I can
Hi,
see
Pappy.
where the deception could be so great.
Yes, but it's a choice to stay in that deception or to peek
Yeah.
through it. There really is a matter of choice there. And most people have heard at least one whispering of something that didn't smell right,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was their choice to go interact and find out what lied behind that blanket, or to leave the blanket and hope whatever it was didn't bite them later. That was their
Yeah.
choice.
Hey, Pappy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning,
Here's-
sir.
Good
Here's
morning,
Pappy.
everybody. Good afternoon. Good day. On Pedro Wash Day.
If I could talk that stuff, I would walk around. People would say, "Huh? What? Huh?" I wouldn't even speak English.
Make up
I'm
your
still
own
trying.
words. Just make up your own words.
Right.
If you know what you're thinking, they don't need to know.
Right.
Hello, DT. How you doing?
Good to see you. I'm still
Hello.
trying to master saying Mitakuye Oyas. I'm not getting it right.
Mitakoye Oyasin.
Mitakuye Oyasin.
Mitakuye. Mitakuye
Mitakuye
Oyasin.
Oyasin.
Yeah.
See, that sounds like I love you to my heart.
Well, that's what it means. All my relations. Hi, Bonnie.
I know. Beautiful. There's Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Oh, I had my finger.
So-
Bonnie down in Texas. Bonnie's way
That
Teeping
down.
title, that title for your show, where were you intending that to go?
I felt like it would lead us down the road we needed to go to.
I
Because
forgot what
the title was almost I'd rather be reading.
So you've got some good information that you're reading about that's really drawing you in and
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
very interesting, huh?
My goodness, yes. As any time that I could spare my eyes a little bit yesterday, I was reading in this book, and I'm past the preface and a couple pages into the first chapter, and that was as far as I was able to make it without the pain. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna absorb any more of this in this feeling, so I had to put it down. But
That is one of
hey,
the books.
Bonnie.
That's one of the books that you don't go to the end and see how it ends, because every
That's
chapter,
not how you read a book like this.
every chapter
Yeah.
is something different. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one I want to read with you and Bonnie. We'll have to set up a special woman's medicine time. And maybe
cool.
the three of us, if you guys want to. You're not, I'm not.
Awesome,
If you
Bonnie.
want, the door is open for you to join me. And
Sure,
I
Bonnie
will
said.
happily read out loud.
I'll
That
be
would
on
be
there
cool.
tonight with you, Bonnie. I might be
Yeah.
covered in paint, but I'll be there.
You won't be alone. We'll be there.
We'll be picking on Pappy talking about drinking his red wine.
Hey, he'll be the painted man.
Yeah, painted man. Or paint.
Pappy, I've always wanted to ask you about that. And I know different tribes have different meanings behind their symbolisms, or they use different symbolisms for different things. And I'm very interested in that type of information and the use of it in ceremony.
Well,
because
it just so happens that I might have some information on that.
that would be absolutely
It's
lovely
funny.
if you would.
It's funny you bring that up.
He
I love
just
that.
stumbled upon it.
He's so funny.
Let me go over and see if I can find something, because I know for a fact, my memory isn't that good, but I know for a fact I've seen something about that.
We're gonna change your name to Professor. Man, you're so wise, man. God.
Professor Pappy. No, he's Pappy. He's
Where are
He's
we?
like a walking index card.
I know. I love that.
So you
man.
know how we've adopted each other? Do you know there's a ceremony for that? For the making of relatives.
Yeah, that's called the Hunkpapa ceremony. Hunkappa ceremony, excuse me. The making of relative ceremony.
Is that what they do when they adopt a kid?
Well, yeah, there's actually a ceremony for that.
Cool.
So I'm gonna pull card number 19. Card number 19 is called Painted Face. And let's see what Painted Face says. Okay, you'll get a little historical, and then you'll get some of the contemporary or at least the historical uses of it. Okay. The key word of the Painted Face is self-expression. Okay. So in other words, wearing outward what you're feeling inside, or what you're expressing inside. Painted Face expresses the inside of me, not my nose or my eyes, the parts that others see. My feelings and my medicine are painted in design, colors of great mystery, who created me in kind. Many movies have been produced in years past showing Native Americans fighting cowboys. In these battles, the warriors of the Red Nation have faces painted by Hollywood makeup artists. A warrior would never paint his face in a ridiculous manner when going to battle as portrayed in these early movies. These artful yet incorrect face paints never portrayed the two real forms of Indian self-expression. War paint and ceremonial paint were two different types of personal medicine. Since Native American tradition places a great deal of emphasis on the development of uniqueness and personal talents, it was of paramount importance that each person be allowed the right of personal expression. One way this was achieved was through the painted face. The painted face of the warpath was intended to frighten the enemy and to add to the expression of that warrior's bravery. Now, if you stop and think a second, is there another group of people in the world that do that? Think of the Maori and their facial tattoos and their facial expressions when they do the haka dance. The painted face of feast or ceremony was to show the beauty of the individual spirit to all others of the tribe. The extended family represented by a tribe was a safe place to reveal the way in which each individual walked in beauty. There was no need to use the painted face as a mask in ceremonial situations, for no enemies were present. Masks were used in many dances or rituals when it was necessary to portray someone other than one's self. And a lot of people wear masks. They're hidden from view, but they're still wearing a mask. We've encountered them. The painted face was never used to cover one's identity, but rather to express it in a more personal manner. War paint was used on a brave and his pony to show them as being a team. This is one reason why the Pinto and Appaloosa used by the Plains tribes were often called paints. The war paint representing the medicine that protected the brave was also the medicine that protected his horse. Sometimes the way to express personal battle medicine came through a medicine dream. The more frightening the war paint, the easier it was to create fear in the enemy. Using the elements of surprise when jumping an enemy, a warrior would howl a war cry displaying his contorted, painted face. This show of courage could instill fear and temporary paralysis in the opponent, an advantage in battle. Now, after a horse was brought to Turtle Island, the red man and his pony became inseparable. This hardworking team would hunt buffalo so that the people's needs would be met. Horse took over the job that had frequently been reserved for dog by carrying the goods of the tribe from camp to camp. Horse became an extension of a warrior's spirit and his new best friend. When these two friends were
Your dog didn't like that.
Uh-oh. I have to
You
take
are
a
not
break.
getting a
He's
horse
outside.
map.
I'll be right back.
You heard that
Happy's
dog?
not getting a horse. That dog said, no way.
A horse. I'll carry your shit.
I'm your best friend, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here, that's so funny that Bo was acting like that because you see this book?
Yeah.
Hi, Dawn.
Yeah. Cool.
And it is a I'm not sure. Hold on a second. Let me find what the what travel story this comes from.
I gotta pick up a book.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Crystal. How you
afternoon.
doing, hon?
I'll bet you that it's Lakota
Put a lock on it.
or
I think it might be.
Dakota or Nakota or Mini Kanju.
I brought it.
Well, you tell Bo, don't worry, because it was actually called once the gift of the sacred dog.
Well, you know the Lakota name for dog is Shunka. The Lakota name for horse is Shunkawakan, which Waka means sacred dog. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we heard part of the story why that would be. So anyways, when these two friends were together on the warpath, each brave painted his body and that of his pony with the colors found in the earth. The clays that were used for paint carried the names of the areas where they had been found so others could find them by returning to those locations. These clays were then baked on the side of the cooking fires and pulverized into a powder and stored until needed. Whether the paints were used for a ceremony, a feast, or for going to war, the preparation was the same. Bear grease or buffalo tallow was mixed with the colored powders to a certain thickness and then applied to the body. These colors of the earth are not as bright as paints used today because they're totally natural. Sometimes the flowering parts of herbs and natural grasses could be added to intensify the brightness of the clay, but on the whole, the colors were generally earth tones. The traditional colors of red, black, white, and yellow, which represent the colors of the four directions and their medicines, were the basic palette. The use of blue and green were not as common because it was more difficult to find clays of these colors in certain regions. Blue represents Father Sky and green, Mother Earth. If a tribal member had a special medicine vision that marked a change in that person's life path, he or she could be known from that time forward by a new name. If this occurred, it was certain that the new identity would change the medicine of the person and therefore change the painted face as well. These changes were celebrated by everyone. The discovery of a new talent, the completion of a test of bravery, the move from childhood to adulthood, or a coup was one of the many blessings of physical life honored by the people. Each person used his or her individual intuition and creativity to create the painted face, and that in itself was an exercise in personal growth that aided the tribe as a whole. The designs that I'm most familiar with are the ones passed on through the medicine teachers. These cover a broad expanse of traditions, but are by no means the only ones used. Remember, this is personalized, so there can be great variations. Oh goodness, hold on.
He sounds like a dog I wouldn't say no to.
Very, and
He
to be
does
such
like
a
to be
kissy
hurt.
face pup.
Oh, he's a
He's serious.
sweetheart.
He's trying to put
And I
his
know.
2 cents in.
Hey,
Yeah,
Crystal.
Hey, Robert. Hey, chat.
I swear
love y'all.
he knows our voices so well that he's talking to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobo and Kai, they're sitting there just being kids, talking back and forth.
Kind of like when you're on
Only-
the telephone. Sometimes they just won't leave you alone.
I know. Yeah. They're just like kids, they're at each other's throats all the time, but they can't go any place without each other. It's just
Yep.
nuts.
Or
Same here.
you.
Naturally. Definitely brother and sister.
Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so one universal symbol was the use of yellow lines above the eyes. This denoted a seer with proven talent to interpret dreams, receive medicine visions, or journey with successful results, which aided the tribe. A face painted totally black denotes mourning, the loss of a loved one. Blackened eye sockets tell the observer that this painted face acknowledges the West, is a fair judge, sees the truth, is strong like bear, and would be a good advisor, one not swayed by the opinions of others. A red line down the nose can mean two things. The first meaning is that the person trusts the path they follow. The nose leads us in every direction we turn. Therefore, the nose, when painted red, is also a sign of a leader. because the leader has the trust and the faith of the people. In other cases, red is used as a line down the middle of the forehead and again at the chin. This signifies that the wearer is a protector of women and children. When yellow is used in any design, the color means that the wearer is connected to the East and Eagle and has served the people through sharing new ideas and inspiration. Yellow paint also means that the wearer honors the lives of all things that grandfather's sun shines upon. White in any design means that wisdom has come to the life of that person through a major event and altered that person's perception. Blue and white can mean that the painted face had a sign from the heavens regarding some wisdom thought. Green and or brown designs can mean the connection to the Earth Mother that has produced a newfound talent or ability. A lightning bolt means the wearer is connected to the thunder beings and that usable energy is a part of his or her medicine. If the fire stick is painted in white, the person has been struck by lightning and is now designated as a medicine person of the tribe. If the lightning bolt is blue, it means the spirits of thunder and lightning have spoken to the person in visions and dreams. A red lightning bolt also denotes a rain medicine person who can call the rain beings to quench the thirst of the Mother Earth. White horizontal lines under the eyes can speak of the wisdom of seeing the truth and being grateful for the power of observation. 7 white circles, fully colored, with 1 in the corner of in the center of the forehead and 3 on each cheek, traveling down to the jaw, is a Choctaw symbol for a moon medicine person. A moon medicine person can read omens and signs in the night sky and makes these portents known. Every symbol of a person's medicine will be painted in the color of the direction that brought that realization of that gift. For instance, east is yellow, south is red, west is black, and north is white. Above is blue, below is green or brown, and within is usually green. In the Sioux tradition, black elk saw red in the east and yellow in the south, as did lame deer, but most other traditions see those colors reversed. The Navajo have a totally different wheel with colors, which applies to their creation story. If a healer has snake medicine, we would see a wavy line painted on their face in the color of the direction they were walking when the snake came to them. Any symbol that is painted in red can represent a family gift or tradition that has been passed down through that bloodline. A red wavy line denotes a child of a snake medicine person, and that snake protects his or her life path through the medicine of the ancestors. Every person carries a legacy of needed talents that will support the growth and expansion of a tribe. When the painted face is shown to the tribe's extended family during feasting or ceremony, those gifts are noted by the elders and can be called upon in times of need. The painted face has no room for boasting because if one claimed a talent, it was a communal property in a sense and could be used to benefit the whole. To lose face was to be shamed by claiming talents one did not have. When the needed talent was called on by a tribal council and could not be produced by the false claimant, the other claimed gifts would be in question. The painted face of the deceiver would be wiped clean, and no one would ever believe that person again. Remember that the gifts exposed by the painted face were talents that each person brought to the whole tribe as a giveaway. It is good medicine when we assist others by sharing our abilities. As others prosper along with us, we gain a sense of self-worth that is not ego-based. Now, how do you apply the painted face? The painted face speaks of self-expression. It tells you to use your creativity in order to express your feelings, your talents, and your desires. Expressing who and what you are at any given moment is healing as well as productive. As you change and grow, you may feel the need to alter the way in which others perceive you. Changing your appearance, attitudes, and activities to match the new you may be called upon at this time. The keynote is that this card will ask you to open up and allow others to see your medicine. In this way, you're offering a gift to others who may have a need for your talents. Don't deny how you feel, what you think, or what you can offer the world. In truth and with grace, it is now time to allow the medicine of the self to emerge. You will never lose face by presenting the true self minus the self important.
Wow, that was a lot of information.
And that's
A real
that's
lot of information.
the teaching of the painted face. You're going to hang the shingle out on your face and say you can do something. You better be able to do it. Otherwise you'll be asked to lose face.
Yeah,
awesome.
you know, and for the people that don't understand, when you are part of a tribe, their definition of family as we know it out here in the outside world, in the English world, however you want to call it. Lost Anna. Is completely different than how a tribe sees family, right? How a tribe sees community is completely different than the way we are taught to see it. And so when you listen to anything about losing face, right? That's a big deal, because these are the people in your community, in your tribe, in your family, are the closest to you, the ones that you have responsibility to, the ones, and each person plays their part. Each person has their role. And so it's really, you think about that as a society structure, how much more interwoven their lives are than ours are out here. And honestly, I feel like it should be more commonplace to feel that way.
Well, one of the other things you need to consider and look at the difference in those times, and perhaps who knows, even in future times, if things happen and there's a breakdown of the greater society. In those times, to be outcast or to be shunned or to be sent away or whatever really, really lessened your chances of survival without the group. Bringing in an untruth or bringing in something that was not what it was said to be could bring danger to the group. So truth, and trust, those two keys right there were paramount to the survival of the people in the future generations. Just like
Yes.
my avatar now with this young scout out there that was expected to come back and faithfully report everything he saw, not add to it, not take away from it, but to give exact fact so that the elders and those others could use for information. That was important. A scout that came back and said he didn't see something or he saw something that was not there. You see how that could affect the whole?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. That's what this painted face is talking about. When you express it there, you're free to express your truth, not your falsehood. That's a mask. People confuse the two. They think they painted their face like a clown, and in actuality, they put on a face mask. And they
Yeah.
do the same thing with their personalities to become a chameleon or whatever, you know, the ones that I call shapeshifters. Okay. So there is a significant difference. Trust is earned, you know, and once it's earned, it's expected, you know, because we would never, you know, you would never think that someone is going to violate a trust that has been proven in the past. It happens, but it's very, very rare.
But now you look at that in comparison with the society that we live in today, and it used to be way back when that a man's word was his bond. You remember that? The importance of your word meaning something.
Yep.
And so I teach, you know, that Jeff and I, we teach Raina that. We tell her the importance of that. And since she's been very little, we've been very cautious about, and she would ask for something, and then she knew if a promise was made, that we would do everything within our power to keep that promise. That's how important your word is. That's how important your bond is, and a promise is a bond. And it wasn't just something you threw around, like, you know how everybody throws around I love you and I hate you, and without any true meaning of the word, right? Of any of those words. And so we didn't want her to take that lightly. We wanted her to know that, you know, not everybody thinks this way, but it is up to you to keep your word as a bond, as something trustworthy, so that when you shake on something and you make a deal about something, you will do your utmost best to keep that agreement that you have made. We've lost a lot of the importance of that. We don't trust our fellow man now. You know, somebody says the check's in the mail. You know, taxes aren't due this year. Whatever thing they want to say. You know, and we just kind of like, yeah, whatever, and we have been desensitized to just how spiritually damaging a broken promise can be, because somewhere within us we all remember the importance of a word once given, right?
And this is where you'll run into conflict, because in the world, you know, you're going to have people that I call, well, other Native Americans called them two-faced. They had two faces, not two spirits, but two faces. And, you know, this is, you know, when you encounter somebody, for example, that's bipolar or schizophrenic or something of that nature, okay, you could literally say that, you know, they're two-faced, you know, or you can literally say they're two spirits. But generally, when Native Americans said two spirits, they meant a spirit of both male and female, or
Right.
mixed. Or they call them the Winktays. They were often considered to be sacred people because they were so rare. You know, sacred medicine people. You know, because you know, a woman, for example, that exhibited all male traits. You know, and there were female warriors, or vice versa.
Right.
A male that ran around and wore dresses and stuff. They were considered medicine people because they were carrying both spirits. You know, so it's all in the way that you look at it, and if you apply the similarities between the cultures of some of these indigenous peoples around the world, you can apply them in everyday life yourself. You don't have to call them by the same terms or anything, but you can see how they parallel each other. You can see
Yeah.
as above, so below, you know, as within, so without. You know, there's a core truth there that you can learn from.
Yes. And in Greeks call them Janus. Janus. Two faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we forget, Joe, just how important a lot of things are, because they've done such a swell job at, well, I don't know another way to say it, demoralizing people, taking the meaning and the depth out of things on purpose, making it all shallow, and thereby increasing all those shallow emotions that come along with that. We were just talking about the what did I call it, Robert? Anna? Web of thought, the dark web of thoughts, the
Yes.
distractions, the surface stuff.
Yeah, the darkness.
Something that about what Pappy just talked about just kind of like smacked me right in the head. Like I gotta say this. Who puts the determination or the okay, better yet, we learn as we're growing up what our roles are in life. Of course, we know that man and woman are different, but who is to say what is right for another person when it comes to their abilities? Like, well, this is just a small version. When I was a kid, I thought maybe I would like to be a truck driver. Well, during that period of time, I was being told, no, that's a man's job. Now, what do we know today? Women are able to do it. Why was it a man's job? Because somebody decided that it was a man's job. Woman's role was different. It doesn't mean that I didn't have the capability to do it, but I was told I couldn't do it. Right? So that thing in each society that decides and determines what a man or woman's role is, you know, I would be that defiant one now. You know what I mean?
Well, as technology increased and as the culture changed over the years, we went from an agrarian hunter-gatherer sort of people that were much closer to the earth, and out into the greater world of the supply and demand and manufacturing and things of this nature. And for a while things stayed pretty much the same. The man and woman's role were still considered to be provider and nurturer, of the two. So they each had their own separate areas of expertise, if you will. But over time, as that cohesive family unit was more and more stressed, and people's ideas changed. There were more women moving out of the home environment, so to speak. The days of Leave It to Beaver and you know my favorite son and all that sort of stuff. All the movies and stuff back then. It changed, and it wasn't that women couldn't do it. One of the best examples of a woman doing a man's job were those that were the homesteaders, those that were the farmers. It was not uncommon at all when I was growing up to see the wife out there driving the tractor or driving the plow while the husband was doing something else out there. So
That's
they were
how the Amish are.
Yep,
They
they're
share.
certainly equal to the task. They just did it dressed differently, But I mean, the capability was always there, and it was always recognized. And the Native American tribal people and most indigenous people of the world recognize that ability of a woman to do a man's job if needed. However, it was the man's job to allow the woman to do her job completely so that he didn't have to do the job. Because most of the men didn't care about carrying out the garbage and stuff. You know, that's just the way we are. You know, or raising the kids and things of that nature. That was mother's work, you know, because they were the nurturers, you know, but they fully understood the woman's capabilities. And they
And there was still a
accepted
partnership
them
there.
as equal but different. They were just as powerful. And I've said this over and over again, male medicine and female medicine, they're both very powerful. Okay. If used in harmony, they become something even more powerful. Okay. If allowed to come in conflict, they will actually nullify each other. If you bring them together in harmony, they create something even greater. If you bring them together in conflict,
Harmony.
you end up with nothing. At least nothing worthwhile. But that's just me. I'm an old fart. What do I know?
Well, no, there's something
Thank
to be
you,
said for that,
Kathy.
because Anna, that was a really great question, because I think you're right. A lot of times people attribute this to women's work or that to men's work. And I was raised in a household very much like that. And so there were a lot of skills I was lacking because I was not allowed to do certain things because that was not my job, according to my gender. And it always frustrated me. So there were a lot of things that I went out and had to intentionally learn as an adult, which, boy, would it have been easier to learn as a kid. I tell you what. But having said that, I'm going to say this. Every relationship is a partnership, right? And so if you look at it in that, like when I'm down, Jeff will cook dinner and do my, he'll pick up where I can't do it. And when he's down, I will pick up where he can't do it in as much as I'm able. But
Like Pappy says, like the other half of the one.
yeah, it's a partnership. It's not, we don't do the things that we do individually because we don't feel the other one can do them. We let each other do our work, but we are fully prepared to pick up the other's work if one of us needs the other one to do that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Each is capable of doing the whole job if they have to. But it's much easier to do when you only have to do half of it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look at Anna. She does both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you have to, you're certainly capable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
And sometimes, I mean, I watched my mother. You know, there was times where she raised us. You know, when her and my dad got divorced. You know, and and she did it all. You know, and then you know, when she got remarried and stuff, and it was very much a traditional thing where, you know, he was out working the farm the whole time, and she was a housewife and stuff, and you know, he'd be off doing what he needed to do, and you know, something would go wrong in the car. My mother was out there working on it. You know, so
Yep.
certainly capable of doing that, and I admire people that can do that, that can step right up. You know, the ability to cook for your family and stuff. I had to learn that myself. You know, because sometimes the wife wasn't available to cook or was sick or was ill or whatever. You know, you step up and do that. And after a while, you know, you learn how to do it. Why? Because the kids get sick and tired of having the same thing, SpaghettiOs out of a can or something like that, you know?
Well, Pappy, my mom told us girls, if a man is out working, you're not, it's your responsibility to take care of home.
If a man is out working and the woman's staying home, she's working too.
Oh yeah, but they'll both be working, but I was raised old school.
Different, yeah. They're doing work, but they're just doing different work.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Right.
Ooh, my jalapeno hot dogs are done. I'll be back.
Woohoo!
Grab me one.
I got 3 of them.
Happy's feeling spicy today.
Sounds good.
And you know,
Yeah.
Anna, I'm going to go a little bit further in this conversation too, because the other thing about partnerships, and the reason why there is and there isn't men's work and women's work, right? I think it's more about like the things that we choose as our responsibilities within that relationship. You know how everything just kind of falls into place, even with you and your roommate, right? You do certain things at the house, she does certain things at the house, or what have you, and it just works. And it's like agreements that we make with each other when we live together. So it's kind of the same thing, I would say, in partnerships too. And if you think about it, when you were raising your kids, right? Probably you were the main rule maker, and therefore the main. All right, you're grounded. I gave you plenty of time. You know, the main disciplinary too. But you always knew that all you had to do was say, "I'm telling your dad."
You know,
because
it's funny you
because
mention
children,
that.
well, and children know, they automatically know, right? If you got to go to the other partner, oh crap, now I'm really in trouble, right?
Well, I grew up being the oldest kid and ended up with a lot of responsibilities. And when the other ones got in trouble, I was in trouble. You know, I had the responsibility of keeping them out of trouble, making meals, like being the surrogate mom while mom was gone and she was working as I was older in life, you know. And I think that might be one of the downfalls in my life that I brought into my kids' life, is the expectations I put on them in repeating that kind of scenario, you know. I didn't get the independence and individuality that I needed, and had to battle to find the time to explore the things that I was interested in. I was taught a certain role, you know. I loved to be out in the garage with my dad. I loved to work on things with my dad, get my hands in there and get them greasy and dirty and figure out how things worked. And my stepmom was always saying, "You get your butt in the house and you help me with this and help me with that, because you have to learn how to do this." Well, I'd get it done real fast so I could get outside by my dad again and get in there amongst all the smells I liked of the garage, you know? Well,
Yeah.
my stepmom
Well,
would say,
and that's,
"You start over. You couldn't have done that good enough because you just got done with that way too fast."
well, and see, and I understand what you're saying there, but what I'm also getting is that you are a very well balanced person with your masculine and your feminine energies inside. And a lot of people don't know how to balance those qualities within themselves, let alone find a partner with such balanced qualities, right? Because the more balanced you are with those energies, the more you're going to need a partner who is well balanced in those energies, because it will throw it off one way or the other if they're not. And so we tend to like, for me and Jeff, I think we're both probably pretty well balanced in both those energies, and in a way that doesn't take away one or the other from either of us. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And so when you are well balanced with your own energies and accepting of them, because a lot of people raised in a way that said this is women's work and that's men's work, and you know, for whatever reason you're not allowed to do one or the other. For people who were raised like that, and it's a surprising amount of people that were, it takes a long hard road for them to come into balance and be themselves, or it takes some kind of life experience where they have to figure out every aspect of all of that on their own. So I think there's something to be said for being a balanced individual in your masculine and feminine energies and being receptive and open to learning new things, because all of those things go hand in hand. And the more complete you are, the more complete of a person you will look for. You understand what I mean? You know that
Yeah.
whole love yourself before you can love anyone else? Well, there's some
Yep.
truth to that. There's some
Yep.
truth to that. And there's some truth to being as balanced as you are able to be, because then when your soul seeks out another light, it's going to seek a balanced light. It's not going to intentionally cause upheaval for itself, right?
Well,
Yeah.
my mom taught us kids and my dad, you can be anything you want to be as long as you put the work into it to get there.
Exactly.
I know for myself that part of and realization that, you know, the other person's capabilities and everything else, even though we can do the same thing, you know, sometimes my downfall has been that I can do it myself. I don't need your help. Well, let them do, you know, let them do a part because they can and they want to. Where I had a lot of problems with accepting, well, I can do it, you know, you don't have to, but maybe they want to, you know. There's that
Right.
little bit of,
Well,
I've always been used to
that's
doing
where,
it for myself.
right, you get so used to, but that's part of that is your ego. And I mean, we're coming into a time where I see so many people releasing their ego and not even realizing they're doing it. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. But that ego of past, it can do that to you. I was a get out of my way. I was a get out of my way girl. Just get the hell out of my way. I'll do it myself. And you see how easy that rolled off my tongue, right? Um,
Yeah, me too.
but I had to learn. Yeah, I had to learn that although this is my life and this is my path, I have opened my life and my path to others. And so as they walk beside me, I need to be respectful of them and not keep kicking stones in my hurry to get there on my own. Right? Because I've invited my husband into my heart. I opened my heart to him and I agreed to share my walk with him. So when we do that, it's hard because on that spiritual loving uh plane, we're there. We already know, right? You're there, you know, uh, you feel this, but there's the egoic mind that doesn't want to let go or let help or be looked at as weaker or less than. And that is your ego. All that is your ego. That's that dark web of thought that keeps people pinned down real close to the gravitational field.
Yeah. And I'm real guilty of wearing my heart on my sleeve a little too much too. Is
Okay, I'm going to show you the only
Nothing
tattoo
wrong.
I have that's never been covered. You ready? Oh, maybe I am. It's the only one I have that's an original. It's never been covered.
Yep.
What's it say?
I've never got any tattoos. A little bit too late now. They'll be droopy and saggy.
Stay here, Riley. Well, I was young and wild, and I had lots of time and very little connection to my own brain at that point.
I
Well,
had piercings. I don't know more besides my nose, but
when I was from the time I was like in second, third grade, my dad got custody of us kids, and then we kind of ended up under quite a tight reign of not being as independent as me and my brother were as wild children. Once I broke free, when I got older, without all the restrictions, I pretty much ended up being a wild child. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So after being in that protection, I was a very naive person when I walked out of there. I forgot where I was going to go with that, but
You know, I feel
after
like
that
we've
I had
all,
a lot to learn. A lot to learn.
yeah, you don't know what you don't know until you come until you come across it, right? And I was raised in a very strict religious household, but I also was very, very naive. So when I had to meet the big bad world head on, um, I failed miserably my my first few years out there, and at the same time I succeeded. So when I look back, um, I think, man, I wish I could have done a lot of things different. However, um, I try not to look through those eyes anymore. I try to look back and say, wow, did I have to learn that lesson the hard way? Okay, well, at least I've learned it. You know, you have to look back at your past with the eyes of a teacher, right? Look back and see the lessons rather than the emotions, rather than, and maybe the emotions are part of the lesson. I don't know. And I think in some instances, very likely they are. But I think when we look back at those things and we can look at them objectively, right? Without the lenses that we've put on them having experienced them. And I know it's hard. I know it's easier said than done, but it is really important to be able to learn from the things that you have gone through and grown through. And even the parts you'd rather not look at, you have to really look at them and say, man, I was a brat, or oh my goodness, I could have handled that way differently. But instead of
I was.
that, yeah, instead of that film of regret, instead of that film of because all those emotions, when you look at it from that point, all those sit in the lower vortex of the ego mind, right? And you're trying to see the lesson for what it is, then you need to rise above it and look down on it. Maybe change your perspective of the event. I have been able to do that with even the most traumatic events that I have lived through, and that's saying a lot. But when I can do that and I can see it from another perspective without the pain and emotional lenses that I have put on it myself, having gone through it, because I'm transporting myself to that girl, you know, and I am not now the same person I was then, nor am I seeing the event now through the eyes of the child. So I have to change my perspective in order to gather the lessons and garner the lessons from them, and not to live in the emotional pain or fear or whatever trauma that event has caused, right? In order to be able to heal from it, you need to look at it objectively. And I know it's hard, but that's seeing with the eyes of spirit.
Yep. You know,
My mom, I
go
have
ahead.
learning disabilities and was overweight and used to get made fun of a lot. My mama put me up under her wing. She always was there to get me out of trouble and stuff instead of me going through it and learning, that I needed to do it myself. I love her. I know she was trying to protect me, but she kind of hindered me too, because when I got out in the world, I was clueless.
Well, I want to put something out there for y'all to consider. Before I do that, I want to acknowledge all the people that have come into chat that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. Let's see. I'm going to go down through them. I see Camel Carl. How you doing? Dorinda dropped in here. She says she's going to go fight at City Hall today. And Little Laughs a Lot. I'm going to come back to Laughs a Lot in a second. Okay. Also, Frank Stein popped in, and Dawn Light's here. And let's see, who else did we have pop in? Did we miss anybody? Gigi's here. Okay. I think I got everybody.
I have
Lisa's
to chuckle
here.
because
Lisa
you've taken over Dorinda's welcoming duties.
Lisa Anderson's here. Hi, Lisa. Okay, and Robert, I don't know if you were following chat or not, but I'm going to offer this to Laughs a Lot that hopped in here today and let us know that she learned what her totem animal was. I don't know if you
Shit.
caught that or not, Robert.
No, I didn't catch that.
Okay, well, it
Where
was
is
beaver.
Beaver?
And, yeah, beaver. So we always seem to get a card that's going to be pulled for whatever group we're in. So I don't. Maybe you can gift her some knowledge that you might have on beaver here in a couple of minutes.
All right, I'm not going to pull a card. I'll just read the beaver.
Okay. The second thing I want to point out is this. I've been listening to your conversations here as we went through all of this, and it always comes down to the same thing. People have to make personal choices based upon where they've been. So I'm going to leave you a little tidbit of wisdom from an old firekeeper. I've been many a firekeeper on many a ceremony. And one of the things I learned is that when you're tending the fire, okay, you're looking at the fire from one direction. From time to time, if you still need to tend the fire, from time to time, the wind will change and the smoke will start covering you. Perhaps even the sparks are flying on you. Every one of you is a fire tender. I've learned as a fire tender, guess what? I don't need to stand in the same spot. I can go to a different spot and look at the fire. Okay, so if the smoke is getting in your eyes and you're getting burnt with the embers and the sparks from where you're standing in your fire, move to another place on the fire and you'll see it differently. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Lots of
You've
fun.
all done it already.
Yep.
That's why I like your group. I don't have to teach you guys anything. I just got to have you remember.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, and that's a challenge in itself.
More so for me than it is for you.
It shouldn't. Well, here's the thing: we can tend to make things more challenging unintentionally for ourselves, just because we're so used to overcomplicated and overconvoluted. And
I think that's just it.
okay, well, I'm going to simplify it. I'm going to make it real easy for you. Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the questions, because you are the only one that holds the answers.
Hey, Raina.
Hello, everyone.
Beautiful
Hi,
girl.
Raina.
Hi, Raina.
When we get into the difficulties in life, that's our opportunity to make creator giggle and laugh at us. We're creators of entertainment sometime with our own decisions.
Well,
Hi,
he's got
Raina.
to be rolling looking at me.
Hi, Bobo.
Sarah
Hi,
looks
Bobo.
so
I'm
hot.
telling you, hey, Raina.
Sarah licks a lot.
Oh no, we lost Anna again. Oh no, we lost Pappy.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, I think we have let them overcomplicate things for us by telling us to look outside ourselves at every turn and every corner, and to listen to this person or that person or this certification or that certification or this title or that title, this label and that label. And if the Creator lives inside you, do you not yourself hold all the answers?
Yep. I just try to walk in the light and be a light to other people.
That's all we
Yeah.
really can do. Go ahead, Robert.
And everybody can start with avoiding this dark negative stuff.
Yeah,
we had an early
we walk
conversation
away
with
from the surface stuff a little bit. Yeah, pull back a little bit from the surface stuff. I think you'll start to feel better. You'll
Drop
feel
the
your
hard-
spirit healing.
drop your hardships. Look at them like life lessons, not hardships.
It's
Just like Salmon spoke of.
the fire,
Like roadblocks.
fire analogy. Move to a different place in
Yeah.
the fire, different perspective.
Right? Take
So
it.
a lot of
Nothing.
times we put up roadblocks in our life that actually don't even need to be there. But you're
So be
scared.
the salmon
Go
and make
down
that
that
mountain into a pebble.
If everybody's on one side of the fire, looking into the fire, and you see the other person on the other side, and he's smiling and acting like he's seeing things, and you're sitting over there bored, watching the fire. It's time to get up and go to the other side.
Like Pappy said.
Just like Pappy said, follow. Just follow. If it doesn't look good, get up and change your seat. The fire's different on all sides of it, but you got to stay out of this negativity. If you ride in that roller coaster of negativity, everyone knows it goes up and it goes down. It's like I told Anna this morning. You want to be on a steady rail, like a train, not a railroad or not a roller coaster. Once that's maintained, you can feel what's good and what's bad. You don't have to ask, think, you'll feel it. But when you're down, and you're always down, you're never going to feel the upside. There's no upside to that, except more depression, more pills.
Enjoying the
More
view instead of
doctors.
worrying about the puke getting in your hair.
Right. Exactly. More depression.
Did you want to read Beaver for us?
Yes, Pappy, back up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, it just in a blink of an eye, I went right back to start modem on my computer. I don't know what happened there.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So this is for laughs a lot.
Smiling eyes.
Beaver, teach me to build my dreams, including others too. One mind, one thought, heart is one. Lessons learned from you. Beaver is the doer in the animal kingdom. Beaver medicine is akin to water and earth energy and incorporates a strong sense of family and home. If you were to look at the dams that block woodland streams, you would find several entrances and exits. In building its home, Beaver always leaves itself many alternative escape routes. This practice is a lesson to all of us, not to paint ourselves in corners. In other words, get up and look at the fire in a different direction. If we eliminate our alternatives, we dam the flow of experience in our lives. A doer is characterized by industrious, and the Beaver knows that limitation cancels productivity. Beaver is armed with very sharp teeth that are capable of felling whole trees. Imagine what those teeth could do to the limbs of a predator. From the rear, Beaver is armed with a paddle-like tail that aids in swimming as well as guarding its behind. This tiny animal is well equipped to protect its creation. To understand beaver medicine, you must take a look at the power of working and attaining a sense of achievement. In building a dream, teamwork is necessary. To accomplish a goal with others involves working with the group mind. Group mind constitutes harmony of the highest order, without individual egos getting in the way. Each partner in the project honors the talents and abilities of others and knows how to complete the piece of the puzzle that belongs to them. In working well with others, a sense of community is achieved and unity ensues. If beaver has appeared in your spread, it may be time to put your ideas into action or to complete some project that has been neglected. The beaver card could also be asking you to settle differences with fellow workers or friends. Beaver tells you to look for alternative solutions to life's challenge and to protect the creations which you put your love and energy into. Sometimes Beaver brings you a warning to watch your back. If this is your message, you will know it by the position in which the card falls in your spread. If the card falls in the south position, is to remind you, your child self, that trusting is okay, but caution is necessary. Use discernment, and all will be fine. That medicine is for lapse a lot. If that's where it needs to be and go, so be it. If it needs to go somewhere else, so be it. If someone else feels it, so be it. Let it be done. There's nothing wrong with getting up off your butt and going to look at the fire in a different direction.
It is amazing how, as we progress in our talks each day, no matter what the subject matter is, something comes up that is a teaching. You know, of course, like I always say, everything is a teaching if you look at it that way. But it reinforces everything else that's already been talked about, even though we might initially think, well, this is going to be taking us off on a different tangent. But within the teaching, there always touches on the other subjects that you talked about even before that teaching arrived. I find that that's a self-supporting, self-validating truth that comes out in a lot of different ways, what I call the same different pathway. Really interesting.
Yep. Then that's basically what the message, right? If you're going up and down on the roller coaster, dipping into this dark web stuff and this dark energy stuff, and then trying to come back out and level up, it doesn't work. I know. I'm doing it right now. I'm healing from it right now. It's a progression. You can't do it today, but work on it. Work on it. Work on it.
Well, I'll give you a life lesson that I learned growing up on a farm. Okay. You know, we had 140 cows that we milked all the time. We actually had more than that, but there was 140 that were constantly milking. So they generate a lot of cow manure, and later on in life, I remember the lesson that I learned real early in life. If you follow the shit wagon, you're going to get sprayed.
Exactly.
And there's a couple of different ways of looking at that. One is it makes you very dirty, or two, it's giving you the fertilizer to move on down the road someplace safer.
Yep.
And when you're talking about dark energies and stuff like that, if you put it into the context of that's a manure spreader, do you really want to follow it? Okay. If you're doing it intentionally or even unintentionally, getting caught into it. If not, then you have to change, your point of view. Just like you're not on a dog team You know, because like I've said before, if you're not the lead dog on a dog team, your scenery never changes. You know, so the point is that whenever you encounter the dark stuff, the negative stuff, you know, some of it may stick to you, you know, and you have to clean it off. You have to be conscious of that fact, you know, unless you have some form of protection to prevent it from slipping and sticking. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hi, Love Bug. How you doing, Brian?
I always love the synchronicity when we come together. It seems like no matter where we start, we always end up where we need to be.
Yeah. I hope they understand. You know, it's or not understand. I hope they can see it. What we're feel what we're talking about. You know, everyone. I know everyone knows the feeling they get when they hear the surface darkness.
Yeah.
Just
And
not
yet
good
they
for you.
continue to return to
Right.
that. And granted, it is woven to attract, you know, just like fly paper is used to attract flies. But the only part of it that is magnetizing you is your egoic parts.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that particular mind picture up, Heather. If you think of a fly trap or those glue sticky traps, okay, that traps that animal, whether it's a mouse, a snake, a cockroach, a spider, whatever, you know that animal is not going to be able to escape it. And it is destined to die a miserable, lonely death of starvation.
You know, I think that's terrible.
And negative energy is just like that. It will take you, it will snare you, it will glue you and turn you into Velcro, and it will slowly but surely suck all the nourishment out of you until you are nothing but the shell of what you were before. And you have starved to death spiritually.
Exactly. I heard a good story this morning. You know how the ocean has its tides, right? Well, the fishermen saw that when the tide went out, there were tide pools, so they placed fish traps in them. The tide comes in, here comes the fish. The tide goes out, the fish stay into the tide pools. Tide comes back in, the other fish come in and see these fish in the tide pools and say, "Come on, escape from here, come out into the ocean where it's free." They said, "No, it's safe here." They said, "All right." The tide goes back out, the fish stay there. The tide comes back in, the fish return to tell their friends, "Hey, it's time to go. You can't stay here. It's not safe." And they said, "There's food here. There's plenty of food. There's cover. There's protection." Fish said, "Okay." The tide went back out. The fishermen harvested the fish and ate them. So that's where we're at today. They make it comfortable for you. They make you feel like you have protection. They give you plenty of food, plenty of money, but it's a trap. I don't like seeing people in the traps. I don't want to see anyone I know in them traps. And that's why I get off the roller coaster. Do like
Yeah, it's
salmon.
like the story of that little sparrow, you know?
Yes. Exactly. Same.
Just
Yep.
because
Exactly.
somebody poops on you doesn't make them your enemy, and just because somebody helps you out of it doesn't make them your friend.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that's kind of where we're at. I mean,
Right.
Well,
where if
there's another little story you could add to that too to get an idea of the understanding of where we are today. The trees didn't worry about the lumberjacks, because the axe told them, "Look, I'm here to help you. See, I'm made of wood too." Because the handle was made of wood, they believed him.
Yep. This is very awesome.
yeah, I mean, but that's where we need to start. We need to start seeing with the eyes of our spirit, we need to start seeing with the eyes of our soul and living from that place within, because if you don't do it now, you may never come away from the web.
Unharmed.
If you don't come away now, you never know at what point is too late, right? I don't know if there is a too late, honestly. But who wants to repeat this? Who wants to repeat all the lessons you've had to learn in this life? I want to see hands. Probably not too many. Probably you want to learn a different lesson, yeah? Probably you want to move on, move up.
Well, it's important to watch the signs. It's important to recognize that you're getting a sign. It's important to ask for understanding of the sign. Just like the person that had so much faith that when the floods came, he knew that the Creator was going to save him. And the water kept rising and rising and rising. And pretty soon he ended up on his roof. And now they had been talking on the radio and stuff that these floods were coming, and told people to get the heck out of there because it might be dangerous. Sure enough, he says, "Well, Creator will save me. I'm not worried about it." Well, he ends up on his roof. And a guy came by in a boat, saw him up on his roof and says, "Hey," he says, "come on, I'll give you a ride." He says, "Oh, I'm not worried about it. Creator's going to save me. Not a problem." Well, the water kept rising up a little bit now it's up on the roof and everything. And he hears a helicopter coming, and the helicopter hovers over top and is dropping a line down to him, and he's waving them off. "Don't worry, Creator's going to save me." Well, the helicopter couldn't hang around too long, so they had to take off. Well, the floodwaters come up, swept him right off there, and he drowned. So he's standing up there at the teepee door flap to go inside, and there was a warrior standing outside there. And the warrior says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I want to go in there and ask Creator why he didn't save me." So the warrior said, "Hold on, I'll go see if he wants to see you." So he goes inside. Man's standing out there waiting, and the warrior comes back out there, and he's got an elder with him, a medicine person with him. And he says, "Creator says he doesn't need to see you." And the guy says, "Why?" He says, "Creator says you don't listen." He says, "What do you mean I don't listen?" The elder said, "Did you ask Creator for help?" And the guy said, "Yes, I did. I had faith he was going to save me." He says, "Did you hear the reports on the radio about the weather coming?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Did you see the guy we sent in the boat?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "How about the people we sent in the helicopter?" And the guy just hung his head because he missed all the signs. Because he had his mind someplace else. And the
Set his
messages that come through, They don't have to be as in your face as that. But if your perception in your own mind is not where the signs are trying to reach you, you'll never see them.
Yep.
You'll miss the twinkle of the raindrop on the leaf.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, that's a really good point too, Pappy, is that, you know, when you ask for something and then you put limitations on it, which are your expectations, which you think are not limits, but they are, because the divine creator can do all things. Your request is a drop in the bucket, right? So when you put expectations on something, you are also putting limitations on that same thing. And so if you are limiting your view, you may not see the great works around you. You may not see the great news around you because you're expecting it, limiting it into one form. And not all messages are delivered the same way.
Yep.
You know, I want to bring up a comment that I just read in the comments here. Dawnlight, I have to disagree with you. Dawnlight says, I was born 2 weeks late. I was bargaining with God for a better deal and I lost. You're making me laugh.
Yeah.
and I'm laughing because you were born right when you were supposed to be born. Okay, and you've gone through your life experiences to get to where you are now. Okay, to be able to relate those experiences to others as a validity of your endurance, of your strength, okay, of the things that Creator has given you as challenges that can serve as examples to others on how to overcome challenges. You know, Creator doesn't tell us, look, your life is going to be all cupcakes and you know, roses and unicorns and bubbles and stuff like that. He doesn't tell us any of that stuff. He just tells you that you're going to be given a life to live, and every life that's given to live is super important in the eye and the heart of Creator. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here in the first place. And you know, we may never know what our purpose in life was, or why our struggles were so great, or why our life was so good, until we give up our earth robe and go back to spirit again. And you might be told, well, you know, there was this one chance encounter you had with this person over here that sent them on this path so that they could progress in your life. And maybe that's the deal. Maybe that's the one thing that gave your life purpose. We don't know that. We don't know that. But I do know that everyone in here that has a name, everyone that's in here wearing a face, you're all important enough to be here in the first place. And that makes you special.
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes you family. That makes you part of my Yoshpeye, my extended family. Mitakoye Oyasin, we're all related.
Mitaku. Say it again, Pappy.
Mitakoye Oyasin.
Mitaku. I'm putting a U in there.
Just say all my relations. It's easier.
Yeah.
Mina Kamoy. I know that one.
And Dawn, when you're constantly thinking about things like that, that's negative. You ain't gonna go nowhere except
You know, I was
depression.
born almost a month late. I think that was for my mom.
Got to be careful where you put your
Although
energy.
she never thanked me for it. They were like, there's going to be one more December baby in this bloodline. Dag nabbit.
Anyone that comes in here and gives out negative energy, okay, whether on purpose or not on purpose or whatever. Okay. I look at it as a release, that it's a giveaway on their part. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And I allow it to go within our circle over here and be transmuted around the fire and turned into something else. What you'll find is that if you're coming here looking for negative in return, because that's the energy that you've conditioned yourself to live on, then you're going to go away hungry, because that's not the energy we're going to feed you.
Bingo.
And you certainly ain't going to feed us your energy.
No.
Okay, so you're welcome here.
Yeah.
Come on in and have dessert for a change first.
Yeah. And get off the
Right.
roller coaster. It's okay to
Let's
sit
go
over
tubing
here.
down the river. Who wants to go tubing?
Let's go. My house. Let's go.
Have a couple of ropes and tie all the tubes together. Have
Yep.
us a grand old time.
See you tonight, Bonnie.
Love you, sister.
See you tonight, Bonnie.
Bye, Bonnie.
We'll
Bye,
be
Bonnie.
there.
Love you.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, if you guys have not gone over and checked out Bonnie's campfire in the evenings, it's lovely. And you're more than welcome to join us over there. It's usually right around 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Drop your link if you can, Bonnie. Where you go?
Or
There's
somebody,
another mod.
somebody drop it.
Anna, you're a mod, I think. No negativity in there either.
Yep, a river float.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be lovely. Back to that water, huh?
Back in the water again. Bend in the river is not a challenge. It's an adventure.
All right. Well, gentlemen, as much fun as we're having, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. So,
Hey,
Hello, hello.
you want to... You guys want to give final
Hi,
thoughts?
Pappy.
if you don't attend the circus will leave town. That's all I gotta say. Spread love, light, and happiness.
That was beautiful.
Oh,
So true. Wow. Good way of looking at it.
Well, I'll give you my final thought. Anna, go check your mail. Tracking shows it's been delivered. Final thought. I never have a final thought.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The thought to start
And a
with
thought
what
to
we'll
continue
continue with.
My current thought.
together.
yeah.
My current thought is that we're all on this trip together. It's obvious to me. We see the same faces that jump in to the canoe with us, and we're all paddling. Okay, and we're all in the flow. All right. After a while, we'll all start to paddle in unison if we decide that we want to go to the same destination. Okay, so as we get new crew members, and as old crew members become tired and need to take a rest or whatever, these new crew members will pick up the slack for us. That's part of the unity process. That's part of the trip that we're on. Okay, so in that case, we're not asking you to pull any harder than anybody else or any less than anybody else. join in the song, the paddling song, and let's see where the current's taking us. And do it with a smile in our hearts, a smile on our face, a song on our lips, and thanks always in our thoughts.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. I enjoyed everyone's company today. Thank you so much for just taking this lovely, restful day with me. And I feel like whatever message was supposed to go out today did. Somewhere in all that,
In some way.
someone got the good medicine they needed. So I think I'll reiterate what Pappy was saying. Move around the fire. Get a different perspective. Right? Don't be afraid of that perspective. Don't be afraid either to draw away from what makes you comfortable. Just because you're comfortable there. Abused women get comfortable with their abuser just because it's what they're comfortable with. Right? And unless you've been in that situation, you don't understand their mentality. But you are in that situation. Most all of us have been at one point in our lives. Right? Afraid to leave a situation because it was comfortable. So I implore you all to walk around the other side of the fire and just see what you can see. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you guys around Bonnie's campfire tonight. Lancelot, it was great to have you today. Welcome. And everyone that joined us, thank you so much. We really appreciate you all. Love you, big brother. Love you, Pappy. Mwah.
Love you all.
You guys have a great afternoon.
You have a good day.
See y'all, Chad. Thanks for stopping by.
Love you guys.
Love you too. We'll reconnect this evening.
All right.